All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Friday with Friends. This is Derek with Cherry Blossom CBD. We are, it's funny because I start my show off always the same way. So we got great guests, but we do have someone special today. We're kind of waiting for this interview. We have Eric Weaver. You may know him as the Whatever Guy. He is an online or social media reviewer. He reviews all types of hemp-based products, kratom, HHC, THCO, Delta8, whatever, just regular CBD products. He's really is a huge voice in this community, in this global, really, cannabis hemp community. And we're proud to have him here today. So Eric, welcome, man. Thank you for taking some time out with us today. Thank you for joining Friday with Friends.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you've been keeping yourself busy. You've been doing a lot of work. Eric puts out about 5 to 6 videos a week reviewing. A lot of the stuff that he reviews comes out of his pocket. So the whole purpose of this show is giving people shine. And some of you have probably seen him, some have not. But so let's talk about Eric. And talk about yourself. Tell your story and what brought you to this background, led you to like hemp and cannabis, and particularly this particular aspect of hemp and cannabis.
Well, I long time person. I'm a long time veteran of the military, retired military myself, and
thank you for your service.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. The issues I've had since I've been out, as far as like PTSD, not issues since I've been out, but like throughout my life, PTSD, anxiety, paranoia. Really what happened was I was a long time marijuana user for a long time. Actually, I can tell a quick story. When I got out of the Army, probably about 2 weeks after I got out of the Army, I was went to Birmingham Veteran Center up there, and they gave me this is an interesting story. I haven't told this story on camera before. But actually what happened was I go up to Birmingham and I go up to the Veterans Administration up there, and I had to do a check-in, and they diagnosed me, with whatever they diagnosed me with, and gave me some pills and sent me home, right? And me not knowing anything about pills, not having taken pills, throughout my military career, didn't really know much about the pills. And here I was taking these pills, and about 2 weeks into it, I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning in my shop, and my dog is looking at me like I'm stupid because I'm wide awake, man, and I'm zooming everywhere. And also what I don't realize, is during this period of time is that, the people that were closest to me, and that's a small circle, they were going through hell because I was a hard person to live with. And ended up what happening was I was in my room, I was in my bedroom. I have a big man cave in my house in Alabama, and I was in my man cave, and it was on a Sunday. I used to run a store in Milton, Florida, helps veterans that are getting out of prison. Okay. And so when I got back home, it was my normal process was on Sunday afternoons was to email or text message each one of the customers that had bought something from my store, and thank them or whatever the case is. Because I did deliveries and stuff like that too. And so I would get the email or phone number and some way to contact them, and I would meticulously go through and I would look through those, email those people back or text message them back. And prior to that, I was at the store with my aunt. My aunt had owned half the store, and me and her actually had an argument. And one of the things she said to me is Eric, when you come off those pills, you're going to have to detox. And I really didn't like what she was saying at the time. So what she said to me kind of just went over my head. Sunday, while I'm in my house and I'm text messaging these people back, that conversation starts rolling around in my head. And I'm starting to think, okay, what the hell is she talking about? And so I get the pills out and I start looking at them. Now, here's the thing, Derek. When I first got those pills, the very first thing I did was when you walk into my house, we got a big house. My mom's on one half of it and I'm on the other. It's 2 master bedrooms and all that kind of stuff. So when I walked in the house, the very first time I had those pills, first thing I did was I went and took them and put them in her bathroom. Now, I never understood why I did that. But apparently I did it, subconsciously because I knew that those pills were bad and that I was going to, start going back to them. It ended up what happening was I ended up looking at the pills and finding out that I was taking Adderall. And I didn't know anything about Adderall.
What is that like? Yeah.
And looking at it, I'm trying to figure out where the hell would you give someone like me Adderall? You know, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm already wired for go. Like, why would you? You know, why would you want to wire me for going even worse? And come to find out, I go to reading all the side effects of it, and I had every last one of them there, like every friggin' one, like all the way down the line. Like, and when I realized that in my head, I was like, holy shit! I had really been putting my family, the ones that were closest to me, through a living hell for about 90 days, man. And I had to realize in my head also, because I was like going in there and taking half a pill, and it was crazy. Like, I was hooked on this fucking Adderall in like 90 days. And I literally, once I realized that, I came to that realization, man, it was a hard slap in the face, man, for someone like me that just doesn't, you know, I don't believe in that kind of crap. You know what I mean?
Like addiction didn't even register to you.
No, it didn't, dude. I mean, it reached out and it snatched me so hard, man.
Wow.
And the thing was, like, okay, so I went, and prior to this, I had taken those pills for about. Let me back up a little bit. I had taken those pills for about 2 weeks after they, you know, gave them to me, and I didn't like the way they felt because I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I told you a story about my dog, and I just stopped taking them. And I was dating a girl at the time, and she wanted me to do things the legal way, which my chick now. I'm my chick now. She wanted me to do things the legal way, and and I got away, you know, and I didn't, because I was smoking pot. She didn't like the idea that I was smoking pot. That was illegal because I stopped taking the pills. I went to smoking pot. That was giving me the relief I needed, and she didn't like that. And she was like, you know, do me a favor and at least try it the legal way. And so I did. I went back to the VA, thinking that they would, you know, give me something different. And really, what happened was I sat in the office and I never even got to see the shrink guy. They just, some nurse come around and gave me a prescription, and I got the same prescription that I got from previous when I stopped taking them. Like, they never even talked to me. And so,
can I ask a question?
90 days later, we found, yeah.
What did you go in to the doctor for that they kept giving you Adderall? Like, what did you tell them that made them say, "Oh, Adderall is for this gentleman right here"?
The lack of, like, no sleep, and like, you know, the dreams, and the, you know, not being able to, like, you know, Derek, I would have 4 or 5 things going at one time. Like, you see the results of what happens when I'm
Adderall. That's crazy. That's unusual.
Yeah, it was
wow.
It was ridiculous. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, you know, it was sort of, and they had me taking it at 4 or 5 in the afternoon too. That's the other trick. Like, I had actually called the doctor in between time and said, "Hey man, let me start taking this thing in the morning." And he's like, "No man, you know, you get." So I started taking half of it in the morning and half of it, you know, in the afternoon. I stopped taking it. The trick is that she wanted me to do it legal, so I tried it legally, and I ended up going back on this Adderall. And in 90 days, man, it was just ripping me apart. Like, it was tearing me apart. It was bad, bro. It was bad. It was bad. And so when I realized that that's what was going on, I basically went out in the woods for like 3 days. Like, I just, you know, I told my family, "Hey man, I'm done. You know, let me go deal with this." And that's what I did. I went out and I stayed gone for, you know, 3 days. Went out in the woods, cleaned myself off of that shit, you know.
Wow.
And when I came back, got to the point where I was smoking pot. During that period of time, that store that I'm telling you about, I was running in Milton, Florida, to help veterans that get out of prison. Some of the sheriff's department didn't like that idea in that county, in Santa Rosa County. So I was having a running issue with one sheriff deputy in the county, and he had pulled me over 2 previous times. And the same stuff was in the truck 2 previous times. Towed my truck, took me to jail. Okay, and then the third time he pulled me over, he found a minor amount of marijuana in my truck. And that set me on the journey of the Delta8 and the hemp products and all that, because originally what had happened was I went to looking for CBD products, and I wasn't getting any relief out of it whatsoever. So I was driving home one day from Milton, Florida to my home in Thomasville, Alabama. And on the way there, I stopped into a CBD shop called Miller's Crossing in Monroeville, Alabama. Nice lady in there named Miss Donna. And she had a husband who was a veteran like myself, and he was obviously from the Vietnam area, experienced some of the same issues that I have, you know, that I was experiencing. And she was giving me this spiel about hometown heroes moon rocks, the Delta8 moon rocks. And she was telling me, yeah, people are claiming they're getting high off this, or at least getting some sort of psychosis effect off of it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And getting the relief that they wanted off this. That, you know, now granted, now up to this point, I've been in 4, 5, 6 CBD shops, and I've already heard this spiel from different people, right? Like, I never heard of Delta8, but like, you get that, you know, like in the CBD shops during that period of time, you have to remember that it was hard for CBD shops to compete with opiates. You know, like CBD takes 21 to 14 days to get into your system and work, and you're competing with an opioid epidemic that we have going on in the United States, where they get relief right now. And even though it's not helping the problem, it's just masking the issue. That was the issue that we had. And here we come forward with Delta8. So I had heard this spiel a few times. And when I remember walking out that store there, and I remember thinking, man, I hope I didn't just spend $54 fucking on something that's not going to work, right?
Right.
And so I've told this story many times on my channel about getting in my truck, and I hit the old highway coming from Monroeville on the back road along the river back towards Camden. And before I get across the river to my house, bro, I've realized that Delta8 is the answer to my problems. Like, I'm riding around with I'm riding around with a drug patch on. I can't be on marijuana anymore. My girl doesn't want me to be illegal. And then that's the dive off into Delta8. Like, previous to that, you'd be hard pressed to find a picture of me anywhere in my mom's house, like anywhere, because like the house burned down and what few pictures she had are gone. But like over the years, I just wasn't someone that took pictures, and I definitely didn't take videos. But Delta8, you know, that ride from Monroeville, Alabama to Camden, through Camden, Alabama, across the river, across the Alabama River, was an eye-opening experience for me. Like you.
Wow. That's an amazing story. And I'm not fluffing you by any means, because what I just heard is there's so many reasons, there's so many stories, there's so many ways that bring people to this culture. You were someone who never even considered this culture, never even thought about that this could be for you, and some long, kind of arduous road led you here, and all of a sudden, like, you're finding this relief that you didn't even think was available to you. And that's really, really a beautiful thing. I think a lot of people are having that discovery right now.
The other thing too is, think about it is, I call myself the whatever guy. And really it's because it really is, whatever with me. And also in my life, I've done whatever, I've done electrical work. Like, there's not, like, I can actually work in any one of these manufacturing rooms and maintenance, install, wire it. I can weld. I can replace motors. I can replace heaters on a gummy line. I can do all that stuff. And I've been shot twice and stabbed once. So not only do I get the PTSD, some of the PTSD and with the anxiety and the paranoia, but I also got a lot of friggin' body pain and stuff going on too, man. Like, I'm in constant pain all the time. And someone that never really took pills. Like my mom, she was in an accident like 12, 13 years ago. They were in a big truck riding across Texas over towards California, and they cross over to El Paso, and another truck driver falls asleep and runs them off the road. And it put my mom in a coma for like 8 months. And then they told her she would never walk again. Okay. So, when she gets out, she's on all these pills. Like, she's got all these pills and stuff. And now she's getting more towards CBD, but I say that to say this: those pills, they hook you right off the rip. Synthetic heroin. I talked to people and done lots of research on it. And the first words I get out of it is that when you take it, it's like from that point forward, you're hooked on it. Like, there's nothing that you can do about it. You have to be a mentally strong and disciplined person to not get hooked on it. And, my mother is one of those people. Like, as loony as people think my mother is, she can get, she can have a bottle of those pills, stacked to the top. I don't know how many, pills you can get in a bottle, but she can have a whole pill bottle. And she can take one of those pills and doesn't phase her none. And like, at the end of the month, come back and she still got the whole bottle. You know what I mean? Other people couldn't do that. I take a quarter. Like, I've taken her pill and like broke it in half and then broke it in half again and taken it. And it's put me in the bed the whole day. Wow. Like, Like I'm wiped out for the rest of the day, and she takes a whole, she can take a whole. And the pill up, and what I can do with CBD and hemp products, now that that these phytocannabinoids are getting down into my endocannabinoid system, and they're working down and healing the process from the inside out, man. I feel I'm a much better and more congenial person too. People don't realize that they walk around with full-time pain in their life all the time because they've gotten so used to it, and they don't realize that those things are the agitators that are making you snap off the kids, that are making you snap off at your spouse or at your loved one or whatever the case is. When you get to the point where you start relieving those issues, one day you're riding down the road and you're like, damn, my arm doesn't hurt anymore. Like you've been living with it for so long that you're used to it being in pain. And when you get relief, you don't realize what that does to your mood and just being a more congenial person to deal with, especially someone like me.
Your psyche, your overall disposition, your level of confidence. I'm a guy who's had, and I'm probably looking at my 4th knee surgery. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries. I just, there's something about like when you are in pain and you feel like you're vulnerable, anything could happen right now and you can't help or defend yourself. You know what I mean? It's psychological big time, and you can imagine that weight sitting on your head all day. It has to play out in your disposition. It has to.
It does, especially, you got to think about it like this, man. I spent 18 to 20 years with the 101st Airborne, man. And the 101st Airborne and the 82nd Airborne are the President's 2 premier units. They're anywhere in the world, ready to fight, boots on the ground in 24 hours. That's our guarantee to the people of the world. We guarantee you we're going to be ready. We're going to be there and ready to go in 24 hours. And you got to be on your toes all the time. And for someone like me, even after I've gotten out of the military, I'm still that person in my mind. You know what I mean? And that pain stuff, I want to be able to. I feel like grease lightning, even now, as opposed to where I felt, 2 years ago when I wasn't taking CBD products and stuff. I feel like somebody's went by. I'm the Tin Man on Wizard of Oz, and they went by with the oil can and they hit.
That is so
shoulders, you know what I mean? And I ain't got no more creaks and stuff like that. I'm not saying that I don't still experience pain because I work hard every day, but I'm in a much better position now to deal with it than I was 2 years.
Hemp-derived cannabinoids. I think the big thing is that reduction of inflammation. And I think some of the big misnomers is that these things are adding something to you to change you or change you chemically. And a lot of what has happened is that as far as like people feeling uplifted is adding serotonin to your, it's not adding serotonin to your body, excuse me. It is helping your body develop its own serotonin, so you're uplifting yourself. It's not making you go to sleep. It's not knocking you out, but it's taking or removing some of the things that prevents you from being able to sleep, like depression, anxiety, mind racing, body aches, inflammation. It's hard to get to sleep when those things are going on. And you remove 1 or 2 of those things, it's amazing how much more rest you can get at night. It's like that stuff is it's pretty simple,
thing, right? How old are you, Derek?
Believe it or not, I just turned 50.
Damn, I've just turned 52, man. 50 on February 1st. So let me you're gonna relate to this story right here. You're gonna relate to this story. So you remember back in the day, man, we used to watch TV. You remember there would be a commercial that came on TV. There'd be a frying pan with a little piece of butter in it, man, and you could see it was sizzling. It was hot, and they could crack an egg and put it down on top of it. And they say, "This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs." Well, it's interesting that they put that commercial out all those years, and now we find out that we've got an endocannabinoid system in our body that actually works with the phytocannabinoids of the cannabis and the hemp plant to actually get down in there and heal those processes from the inside out. There's no chemical, there's no chemical change to your body going on here. This is a natural process in your body. Your endocannabinoid system reaches out to a large portion of your body, man, and helps out in a lot of ways. And those phytocannabinoids are necessary for you to heal the process that you've got going on. It's for you folks out there that are looking for some sort of process. You have to understand that it's hard for a CBD person to explain to you that, CBD is going to help you, or some sort of hemp products are going to help you, because what's going to happen is it takes 15 to 21 days for those, those phytocannabinoids to get into your system to work with your endocannabinoid system to work that way. And the problem is like I said, they're fighting an opioid epidemic where doctors can just write you a prescription that will, yes, they're going to give you relief right now, but it's really only masking the problem. It's not doing anything to help that problem in the long term. If you would,
Yes.
And here's the thing, in my opinion, like I was saying before, Delta8 is kind of what gave CBD that smack, gave them that feeling that they were getting some sort of relief right now with Delta8, and the mixture of CBD would get, then 15, 20 days down the road would start healing the process from the inside out. And that's what you got going on with me, guys. I'm a Delta8 user. I love the minor cannabinoids, but I'm also on those mixed carts, man, those one-to-one carts that are CBD and Delta8 carts, that I'm getting the healing going on with my body while I'm getting that smack and that immediate effect that I expect right now, that if I was going to get I was going to get if I was going to get opioids from a doctor.
It's funny that you bring that up, because if we were on the West Coast and we hopped in the car, we could go to the store and get a one-to-one tincture or a one-to-one cartridge, and people totally understand how effective this is. We've all heard of the entourage effect, and the only way that works is the introduction of THC, whether that be Delta8 THC, Delta9 THC, what have you. And I've had to come around, I was like, this Delta8 stuff, it don't seem right. But I've had to, it all does make sense. I read in a medical journal, I can't remember what this journal was, it was a California medical journal, and it talked about 100 years ago, the best pain medicine that this country has ever produced was a mixture, actually, of opioids and cannabinoids. And how this is probably where this is going one day, that those two things, and that the cannabinoids, what it does, what it's doing today. It helps you, and it helps reduce pain, and helps, and kind of sometimes people who are taking both, it's helping, the opioids and the cannabinoids are working in conjunction together, but the cannabinoids are sort of creating a filter or a wall to keep those opioids from sticking onto you in a strong way. It's almost like it's helping fight off the addiction and the negative parts of it, but accepting the positive parts of it. I'm not telling people to go out and do opioids or do this in one-to-one experiment on their own. I just thought that was very interesting that no one's ever talked about that really until I read this in this medical journal.
Well, the thing is too, is, you said the key phrase, you said, thousands of years, that's the thing, man. This plant has been on the planet for thousands of years. The reason why you folks don't know about it is because of the big war on drugs. And what you're not understanding is that the war on drugs basically created the pharmaceutical companies that we have pumping the opiates that we have onto the market. You have to understand that the reason why that your knowledge and you're just finding out about this stuff right now is because your government and everybody that's in the top wanted to hold it down. They didn't want you to get this knowledge about this, because people that are using marijuana are going to take a huge cut out of the pharmaceutical companies going in.
Doubt.
I mean, that's all it is. Right. Like we're talking billions of dollars here, folks. So they don't want you to know anything about CBD, THC, any of these minor cannabinoids. They don't want you to know about hemp, cannabis. Everybody's looking at it as bad because that's what you've been preached to for the last, 60 years or 100 years, or however many years it's been that you've been preached that to. The fact of the matter is that you got to think about who was the one that was preaching that. Who was the one that was pumping that diatribe out into the people. The problem, the issue they have now is that, back in the day, you could tell somebody something, and it might take 3 weeks for it to get around the corner to the United States. You could lie to somebody on the East Coast as a businessman and scam 100 people, and you could do it all the way over to the West Coast and get away with it for a long time. But you can't do that in this day and age simply because of what we're doing right now, the internet. Information is becoming like light speed. Okay. And so, now you're getting this information and everybody's kind of pulling back from it because it's coming at them at a super fast rate. But what they have to understand is that The information was always there. Okay, it's been suppressed all this time. And then, of course, the people that were doing the suppressing were probably, these opioid pharmaceutical companies. They don't want you to know about marijuana because they want you to buy the pills. They want you to buy all that stuff. They don't want you to know about him. They want you to keep coming in there and getting that doctor to write you a script.
Because all that feeds the pharmaceutical industry. They're all interconnected. Did you know? And I know you.
Oh, yeah,
in 1974, researchers discovered that THC shrinks tumors. It shrunk brain tumors in mice. It destroyed brain tumors. And the DEA quickly shut this down and shut this story down, and it was never reported until it came up about like 2000. Sometime in February 2000, this kind of came back up. Most Americans are, and you would think in all our lives, that you were what, 5 or 6 in 1974, I'm like 3. In all this time, we've heard this conversation about we can beat cancer, we can fight cancer. And the whole time in the back pocket of the US government, this information has been right there. And that tells you that the real money is in killing people, not helping people. That's the truth, man.
Well, I mean, how do you explain Magic Johnson? How do you explain Magic Johnson not having AIDS anymore?
Doctor,
how do you explain that?
All these things.
Here's something else. Walk into Walmart tomorrow. Walk into any CVS or Walgreens or whatever. These are $1 million companies. Okay, and walk down the friggin' cold aisle and look at the products that are on the shelf. If you came out with if I came out today with the modern cold, the cure for the modern cold, the everyday cold, they would kill me. Like they don't want. Look at look how much business you would put. You don't think they got the cure for the common cold? I mean, come on, bro. They got the cure for the common cold. They got it. But they're not letting you have it. I mean, they would they would do more harm than good. They would put so many people out of jobs and all kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with the cancer, bro. Look how much stuff you would put out of business. Okay, I was down in South Florida, probably 2005, I think 2006, and everywhere I looked, they were building these Moffitt cancer centers. Okay, and I remember thinking, man, this stuff stops the proliferation of cancer cells. Okay, it stops the proliferation of cancer cells. You know what I mean? But they're building these 2,000, these 20,000 square foot facilities to fight cancer and shit. And I'm like, if they came out with a cure to cancer tomorrow, where would all them fucking people be? In them Moffitt cancer centers, they're all over the place now. They're everywhere.
It would probably have hemp or some sort of cannabis in it.
We've had this plant, we've had these plants on this planet for thousands of years, and here we are just now scratching the surface of what we can do with these phytocannabinoids. It's just a ridiculous. We're coming back around. We're coming back around. You and I are living in an age where, we were shunned for this back in the day. You couldn't speak you were. You and I both back in school. You were born in 1972, right?
Yeah, 71.
We're growing up. You didn't say CBD. CBD was a bad word. You know what I mean? Hemp was a bad word. I didn't know what hemp was. I didn't know hemp, cannabis, marijuana, but everybody smoked it. You couldn't find
the first time I saw a hemp bag, I
old.
thought it was illegal. Like a piece of hemp fabric. I was like, can you sell this? This is legal, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right? We're living in a day and age where I'm looking at this the other day. My brother were talking the other day, and he said, I'm really glad that you found something that that you enjoy doing and that you're good at, right? And that got me to thinking, man. I'm thinking, man, 20 years ago I couldn't do this. I've got, I'm approaching 500 videos on YouTube, right? I couldn't put one video out. I couldn't put one video out 20 years ago. If I'd have tried that shit 20 years ago, they'd have hung me.
No telling. He hosting Dancing with the Stars right now. What I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, what the hell? It's like,
So
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, you know, we don't get the shareability. We don't get the shareability still that we should get. Like, you know, like the reason why I contacted you, you know, is the whole shareability thing. Like, we don't get shared out like we should. That's why we need the organic growth. We need, you know, people out there that watch our videos to share our videos, to like and
that's what this program's all about.
You know, because YouTube's not going to share my video, huh?
That's what this program's all about. Like, I have to share I need people to hear your voice and your message and your passion. It's not just about me. It's not about, you're not going to get everything that this industry has to offer by listening to me alone. I know that. I got to spotlight other people. It has to have happened. You know what I mean? We didn't even get into half the stuff we're supposed to talk about today. But I mean, so that means we're probably going to have to do this again. But like, there's so, before we have to wrap this up because it's 4:20 today. It's 4:20 today, by the way, guys. And we're really going to rush this video. We're trying to get this out this week. Normally it takes about 2 weeks, but we wanted this to come out like this week. But talk about some of these other cannabinoids. Like, if we think people want to know about THCL and how that compares to Delta-8, Delta-10, THCP, the HHC, and here people are like, oh, it's like 300 times stronger than THC, than Delta-9 THC, and like, how is that possible? And should I take it? And should I be afraid? And like, you know, so all these questions people have, and you are bravely, really, according to a lot of people, bravely putting yourself out there and consuming products. I mean, like, one of the questions I did have is like, you ever had anything which is awful? It just appeared to be unsafe, and be like, I can't talk about this.
Oh yeah, many times. Like I've, you know, I don't, you know, me, I'm just as transparent as I can get, right? You know, I've had some, you know, I've done some carts and stuff like that. They're just like, you know, the nastiest looking thing I've ever seen. Like I picked up a Mystic Labs product over in Andalusia, Alabama, at like a gas station. And the only reason I got this frigging thing, right, was because I had been all over Andalusia, and like every store I went into told me they wouldn't do Delta-8 because they were scared of the Attorney General. I'm like, fuck, it's legal. Like, you know, what the hell? So I ended up finding like this little side gas station in Andalusia. And I'm like, I didn't want to waste the trip to Andalusia. So I go in this little gas station, and they got these carts for $15. And I'm like, $15, man? Are you kidding me? And I'm looking at this thing, it's milky, and I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like, that thing, you know what I'm saying? So I get it. This is back when I first started my channel too. Like, you know, I was looking for, you know, I didn't understand the whole idea of how to do the content thing. And so I was reaching, like, really. And I figured, like, if I was in Andalusia, I had to use that content somehow. And so I ended up getting that Mystic Labs thing, man. And it was probably the rank, dankest tasting thing that I ever, like, it was just, like, it was bad, man. It was so bad that, like, I don't even know why I did the video. Like, I did the video and told everybody it sucked, but like, I just, you know, shouldn't even done the video. But I will say this, that like, I'm far enough along now to where, like, I don't even deal with like that anymore. Like, I don't, you know, like, if you're not an up and up company, like when I first started this, like, I was happy when somebody sent me something free, like, literally, you know, like, somebody sent me something free. Like, now I'll turn a fucking package back. Like, if you don't contact me first and contact me the way, you know, the way we're doing right here, and I can't talk to you, and you're not going to answer my questions, and you're not, you know, we're not going to build a relationship, then I'm not going to make a video for you. Because I understand the content process enough to where, like, even if everybody stopped sending me shit today, and I didn't go out and buy anything tomorrow, right, which is not going to happen. But like, if I didn't buy anything tomorrow, or nobody sent me anything, I could literally still make content on hemp and CBD and cannabis and products for like, and for a generation. Like, it's just, there's so many questions that need to be answered in this space about the niche that we're in, that you could spend, you know, 5 or 6 days a week for the next, you know, 100, you know, years doing this.
That's a benefit to us. That's a benefit to us. That's a benefit to guys like me and you, honestly, that we do have this, that people don't know. They do have questions, and they are looking to people like us to get them answered. You know, we are doing that research. You have an interesting perspective on the future of social media. Are you comfortable sharing that perspective? About the audio and the sounds and that sort of thing.
Like your voice being that.
Well, I mean,
well, here's my thing about social media, and here's my thing. My whole thing about social media is that you notice that I don't go on social media, and I'm not posting my family members, my son and stuff like that on social media.
Good idea.
To me is a place. I've got some of my family members on there. My mom's on there. She hits every one of my posts, and my cousins and stuff like that. But like, I don't get personal on social media.
Right.
But I do, I do share content on social media. But here's what I think is going on, social media, the internet, and all the way around. It's like in 5 years, from this day, we're making this video today. This is my phone. In 5 years, you and I will laugh at the fact that we ever had these phones in our hands. Like, it will be for us, we watched it come from beepers to bag phones in a truck to cell phones. So look where we're at, bro. You and I,
two-way pagers and stuff. Oh my God, yes.
Right.
Blackberries.
Exactly.
Yes.
So now we're to a point where we do all our business on a phone. And I'm telling you that in 5 years, you won't be doing business on a phone anymore, because these 20-year-old kids out here that are just now having kids, when those kids get 5 years old, you tell them that you used to hold a phone, and they're going to be like, what are you talking about? Because it'll be gone. Just like the phone that used to hang on your wall in your house, this phone is going to go away too, and we're going to be moved on to voice. And here's, the warning for these brands out here is, while they're out here bullshitting around, trying to get the quick dollar and all that kind of stuff, and not doing good business and not doing good customer services, is that when it goes to voice, which it's going there now, if they don't know your name, they don't know how to ask for you, it's game over for you. Like, if you're a shithead, okay, and you're doing crappy stuff, right? If you're not a well-known name like the whatever guy, and they can't ask for you for the whatever guy, it's game over for you. Like, same thing for Cherry Blossom CBD, same thing for any brand that's out there. If it's all going to be voice, guys, it's going to voice now.
There's only 5 years left.
You tell the remote what movie you want to watch. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
You can ride down the road, and I'm texting you, Derek, riding down the road, voice texted you, right? It's all going to voice. It'll all be voice before long. And when it is voice, if they can't ask for you, like if they don't know who you are, they can't ask for you. They can't say. And here's the thing, Google in and of itself is the #1 search engine in the world. But if you pay attention to what Google says, Google says in the future that basically they want the one answer to the one question. When you go into Google now and you type in a question that says, what is CBD? You get 5,000 results or 60,000 results or whatever the case is. Right. But really what Google wants to do is give you the one answer. They want to give you the one answer. Okay. They don't want to give you 5,000 of them. They want to give you the one, okay?
So another way of saying that, they want to eliminate those other 4,900 answers, is what you're saying.
Exactly. And,
wow.
And how do you become the #1? Okay, it's interesting that all this time here we are getting away from writing, and we're getting away from essays and writing those the book reports that we used to write back in the day. The kids nowadays don't write that shit. But it's interesting now that we're coming back to the internet. That's what the internet requires. The internet requires that you put content onto the internet. And that's how you become the authoritative figure to become the #1 answer to the one question. If I want, when you come on to Google and you type in what is Delta8, I want my face to pop up, and I want to be the answer to your question. I want to be able to answer your question, what is Delta8? I want to be able to answer your question, what is THCO? I want to be the one answer to that question.
I think we need to do like a live show on that, like on these alternative cannabinoids, and focus just that on that. Like maybe we could do that one evening on like LinkedIn or something. And people, I know there are a lot of people our age in particular, maybe 10 years younger or older, that really have a lot of those questions. I don't know if you'd be open to that. I think that would be fantastic educational opportunity.
I'll do that. I'm up for that anytime, bro.
No doubt.
I'm always up for that.
Well, I know I can't say we wasted time because I thought we talked about some great stuff, but we got to wrap it up. I know people got to get on. We usually do a shameless plug, and I know you don't really sell anything per se, but like, is there anything you want to promote? Like any sort of service? Your channel, of course, where people can find you. Tell people what you're doing and what really your impact on everyone else is.
You guys just hit me at the whatever guy, man. I mean, I'm in a process of, you know, I want to find the best and most transparent products in the industry. I think that there's a space at the top that's not being claimed, and I think in the future I want to come forward with my own brand, you know, having the knowledge that I have, and I want to take up that space, and I think I want to fill it with good quality products, a transparent company, and I want it to be customer service oriented. You know, I want it to be personal. I want it to be a personable experience for the consumer in the end. You know, I want people to be true fans for the whatever guy and whatever guy's brand and what they're doing, and know that their voice, you know, has some effect on how my channel goes, how my brand would go. It's a collective thing, man. You know, over our community over there.
I think
we like to share.
We can help you do that. I'd love to be able to be a vehicle to help you get to that brand, you're looking for. Throat just went dry. I was like, I don't know what happened there, but that thing dried out quick.
You guys check out the Whatever Guy YouTube. Yeah, y'all guys check out the Whatever Guy YouTube, man, and come over there and visit us, man, and hit us. And I try to answer every comment, and that's where I'm hanging out, man. I'm just trying to you know, really what I'm doing is taking just, you know, one step forward, you know, every day. And like I said, eventually I'd like to get to a point where I've got a location over towards Freeport, Florida. So I'm, you know, every day, man, I'm taking just one step closer to that goal. And
one step at a time.
Hopefully I can, huh?
One step at a time. Or as they say in the South, one day at a time, sweet Jesus, huh? Isn't that right?
Yeah, I've been, you know, you get knocked, you know, I think the thing about life is, man, is that you know, getting knocked down and getting back up, man. It's how many times you get back up. You know, you got to keep getting back up and keep going forward, man. And just keep putting forward, you know, on the other, man, until you get it accomplished. That's what I am, man. I'm a
right, brother. That's that US. That's that USA in you right there, man. That US Army. Yeah. All right, I'm a USN. You all right? So you know, we got each other's back in that way for sure. Hey, we're gonna schedule something online to just so the audience knows this. This gentleman has a ton of information, especially on these alternative cannabinoids. We're definitely going to schedule some. We'll try to get that done before summertime, before everybody starts going into vacation mode. But Eric Weaver, the whatever guy, check him out on his channel on YouTube. He's doing fantastic work. There's 500 videos. It'll keep you busy all weekend. Thank you for coming out today. Thank you for hanging with us on this Friday with friends. Go off and have a great day. Have a great weekend. Love you, brother.
Hey, man. Appreciate you, man. Love you. See ya.
Thank you, man. Talk to you very soon.
Yeah.